have your quiz here again, and I do want to go over a couple of things. So typically when students aren't passing quizzes, I do consistently make videos for them, and you shared that maybe you were a little bit distracted, but that's something that you just really need to pay attention to, that if you're in an environment that's not one where you can focus, maybe you shouldn't be taking the quiz yet. And also I want you to make sure you're taking your time. It tells me how long you spent in these quizzes, and on a couple of the attempts it was even less than 10 minutes, and there's 10 questions. So that means less than a minute per question. So let's make sure that you're just really taking your time. Also, in the email that I sent out yesterday, I shared that you should be taking notes while you watch the instruction videos for each lesson, and that includes writing down definitions, writing down examples, tables, equations. When they show work, you should be copying down the work, and then you can use that math notebook as a tool to go back and look through as you're taking a quiz or a test. You know, math notebooks really are tools to use, and so you really want to take good notes. I think that taking notes also helps you learn the material a little better. It's pretty difficult to watch a video, watch someone solve math problems, and then try to turn around and replicate that without any kind of I think resource to help. So make sure that you're taking notes. If you're not, you should have a notebook that's designated just for mathematics. Make sure you're taking your time, and make sure that you're in an environment where your distractions are really limited. So for this first example, it says Jordan is saving for a new laptop that costs $325. He uses the equation and table below to show the number of months he's been saving, M, and the total amount he has saved so far, D, which is the first month in which Jordan will have saved enough money to buy the laptop. So we're just plugging in our inputs, which is the months for M. So we're plugging in, and I've got this new app here to see if I can write right on the screen a little better. So we're plugging those values in. So if we're at month 0, it would be 80 plus 75. Okay, this is going to take a minute to get used to this. Don't do that. $80 plus 75 times 0. In the next one, it's 80 plus 75 times 1. And if we continued that pattern, 2 and 3, 80 plus 75 times 2. 80 plus 75 times 3. So here, 75 times 0 is 0, so 80 plus 0 is 80. In the next one, 80 plus 75 is 155. 75 times 1 is 75. We have to do that first. In the next one, we do 75 times 2 and get 150. Add 80 to that, we get 230. 75 times 3 is 225, plus 80 is 305. So that's the answer you picked, but he has not saved, he's got to save 325. So then we have to make the table 1 month longer. 80 plus 75 times 4. 75 times 4 is 300. 300 plus 80 is 380. So it's not until month 4 that he has enough money to purchase the laptop. Question 4, an internet store charges a base fee plus $1.50 per pound to ship items. The table shows samples of their shipping rates. Derek wants to ship items that weigh a total of 7 pounds, and Keisha wants to ship items that weigh a total of 10 pounds. How much more does Keisha pay for shipping than Derek? So it looks like this question wasn't even answered. When we look at the description, we don't have an equation here, but it says a base fee plus $1.50 per pound. So what we really have to figure out is what's the base fee, because we're not told what that is. So it's going to be the base fee plus $1.50 per pound. So that when you hear per, that means multiplication. In the first line of the table, 2 pounds at $1.50 per pound. So the first pound is $1.50 and the second pound would be $1.50. That's $3 to ship the 2-pound package, but it cost $8. So that means that the base fee is $5. We had to figure that out first, and we really could have used any of these that have a shipping cost listed, but the easiest one is the smallest one. So now we can look at Derek. Derek's going to pay $5 plus $1.50 times 7. Keisha is going to spend $5 plus $1.50 times 10. So now we need to calculate how much each of them paid and then find their difference. So $1.50 times 7 is $10.50 plus 5. So Derek pays $15.50, and I'm using a calculator. Keisha, $1.50 times 10 is 15, plus 5 is 20. And again, it was how much more does Keisha pay? So 20 minus 1550 is 450. Question 6 says, Healthy Gym charges members a fee for each visit, while Fitness Gym charges members a one-time yearly charge plus a fee for each visit. The equations below represent the amounts members pay at each gym, where T represents the total yearly cost and N represents the number of visits. Which statement about the total yearly cost of the memberships is true? The total yearly cost is $300 at each gym for 50 visits. The total yearly cost will always be higher at Fitness Gym than Healthy Gym. So that's not true. So here's what we see. In Healthy Gym, this is the first equation, there's no monthly fee. There's no one-time charge. It's just $6 per visit. In Fitness Gym, they do have a monthly fee initially, but then you only pay $5 per visit. So what happens is that Fitness Gym is more expensive to start because you have this $50 fee that you have to pay in the beginning. However, after a certain number of visits, Healthy Gym will become more expensive because the extra dollar you're paying per visit will finally outweigh or offset this $50 fee that you had to pay at Fitness Gym. When you want to know how many months until it's the same, we set these two equations equal to each other. So if they both equal T, we can set them equal to each other. 6N equals 50 plus 5N. So we're going to subtract 5N from both sides to get our variable on the same side. And we find that 1N, or just N, equals 50. So at 50 visits, both of these memberships will cost the same amount. The question now is, how much do they cost? We do have to figure that out. I mean, this is the right answer. So now I'm going to take this 50 and I can plug it into either equation. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the first one. So if I do 6 times 50, I get 300. I would get 300 for both of them because this is the number of visits where they're the exact same cost. So at 300, what basically a graph of this would look like is that Fitness Gym, because you start off paying this $50 fee right away initially, but then you only pay, $5, but then down here for Healthy Gym, you don't pay anything initially, but you pay $6, and so then you can kind of see here at that 50 visit mark, which is what it would be if we actually graphed it. We're not graphing it. You can see that the lines intersect there, and now that's where the flip happens and Healthy Gym becomes more expensive. The one you selected says the total yearly cost at Healthy Gym is about $50 lower than the total yearly cost at Fitness Gym. That's not necessarily true, because if somebody goes to the Fitness Gym a lot, they're going to get to those 50 visits a lot sooner. Maybe only takes them 50 days, and then that gym would become more expensive. So it just depends on how many visits. So we can't really say anything about one being more expensive than the other all the time, because it's dependent upon how many visits we make. Question 10 says that the admission to a local carnival is $6.50 per person, and $2.50 for each ride. Jenna wants to know how much it will cost her to ride a certain number of rides at the carnival. Which equation can she use to create a table with this information where P is the number of persons, R is the number of rides, and T is the total cost of admission and rides? So you selected the equation that was 6.5P, and we would use P there if we had more than one person, but we just have Jenna. So Jenna only has to pay the $6.50 once. So it would be $6.50. What we don't know is how many rides she's going to take, and those are $2.50 each. So there we have the $2.50R, where R is for rides. So look at what you selected and then also kind of compare that to what's correct. What you're saying in your choice is that there are a lot of people going and only one person is riding one ride, because that's just $2.50. We're not changing this, there's no variable here. So this would be how much it costs for any number of people if only one of them rides one ride only. And that doesn't really make sense because everyone would probably be riding rides. So I hope this is helpful again to kind of see me work through some of these problems. If you have any questions, reach out. I did add another attempt to the quiz. But again, make sure you're taking your time. You can go back and rewatch an instruction video if you need to kind of help. So good luck.